I was actually contemplating passing that deer, but I was like, man, since you got the courage to jump that fence,
I'll shoot him.
I got to shoot him
now.
All right, I'm only shooting him if he jumps that fence. The HUNTR Podcast is brought to you by Hoyt.
Should be no surprise to anyone listening to this that back with Hoyt another season. I'm actually going to be shooting the AX2 aluminum this year.
You traitor.
But you're still going RX9.
Yeah, blacked
carbon,
out as always.
Blacked out.
Yeah.
Big surprise for
80
everyone.
pounds. Big surprise. Yeah.
But seriously, man, I mean, it shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. Every year, it seems like we get a new Hoyt bow in our hands, and they're always a step above the last and just a step above everybody else.
Yeah, they're so consistent, man. Just their processes get better, every year. And we've really been excited about, as we've grown with Hoyt, we've brought some others in with us. We just feel like the Hoyt family is growing, like the community, and we're really excited about the people that are involved, excited to be a part of that company. And it's really awesome.
So for anyone that's excited about Hoyt like Jared and I are, you can use the code HUNTR, HUNTR, on Hoyt.com.
Get serious, get Hoyt.
And we're back.
Hey,
HUNTR Podcast, episode 294.
you look good too. You didn't change either.
No, I didn't change. I could have buttoned this up, but I'm like, fuck it.
I've been wearing it under my
It's nice.
my jacket there. It's a nice,
Pulled it out
nice
today.
metal layer. Yeah,
It was a Hoyt Christmas present,
it's a little bit.
in case anybody was wondering.
Yeah, the inside. What do they call that?
The fluff?
Yeah,
Or the,
the lining.
yeah.
The sheep's lining or whatever.
Sheepskins.
That gives a little bit of like a little bit of teenage dirtbag kind of a vibe to me.
Yeah, like it should smell like weed. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a weed jacket for sure.
Flannel in the inside. Yeah, that's
yeah.
it. I see what you're going for there.
For sure.
That's
So,
what I kind of felt with keeping it unbuttoned. I felt like I was in the grunge era again.
it's grungy.
Yeah.
It's a grungy fit for sure.
Yeah, I like it.
I like it too. It's
I
nice.
like it.
Well, hey, before we dig into our guest here, I'll thank everybody for listening, tuning in. Whether you're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, those are the three main platforms that we drop these episodes on. And we do that every Tuesday and Thursday night at 6 p.m. Eastern time for the duration of the season. Sometime in January, we'll back it off to 1 here. But that's where we're at. If you've written us on Instagram DM or the website, those are the two platforms that we, our messaging services or whatever that we check the most frequently. We're getting there. Bear with us. I say every week.
We're making progress
on it. We have some merch on the website, some HUNTR merch. A lot of you guys have bought that stuff, I think, leading up to for Christmas gifts or whatever, and that's fun for Jeremy and I just to see that stuff, you guys picking that up. So that's cool. As promised, we'll, I think, try to continue building on that into next year and
Get
stuff.
some new stuff going.
Get some new stuff for you. So in the meantime, you can use code HUNTR, HUNTR, on any of our partners' websites for a discount in some way, shape, or form. And other than that,
Here we
go.
Brief moment of silence for our largest 4-year-old in Illinois.
Down he goes.
Hat
Yeah.
off. Yeah,
Bummer.
he
Just got the text, huh?
He died this morning.
Yeah.
To sorry, I wrecked my headset here. To gun hunter.
Flip it all the way around.
What did I do?
Come on, it's 293.
Golly. Look at me. I'm just like a wreck here. Yeah, he died this morning to a shotgun slug.
Yep.
So, yep, that's how they die.
Yeah,
They die.
It sucks. It's a bummer. But I've just come to, I guess, expect it.
He was way too mobile.
They all are. All in 4-year-olds.
Way too mobile. Just covering ground a lot in the last couple weeks, and the weather conditions. At some point, they were going to be. He just
that hurt.
Yeah, they aligned with the season.
Unfortunately, it's probably not the last one either.
No. I mean, the next couple days are looking mighty fine for them to be moving. So, yeah, is what it is. Congrats to the hunter.
I guess. Yeah.
Yep.
I do. I'm not going to, but I want to take this time to just dude, shooting deer with a gun is just too freaking easy. It's too easy.
Yeah.
Especially in the snow.
Yeah, it depends where you're at. I mean, in those areas, farm country, moving bed, into big fields and stuff. Yeah, I mean, they die for sure. 3 and 4-year-olds die a lot for sure.
I feel like that the chick in that Robinson skit where she's like, I won't respect you. Like we'll tolerate you and we'll live with you, but I'll make sure the kids don't either. We won't respect you.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I mean, I'm not knocking the gun hunter side of things. It's part of it,
It is what it is.
And most of them, a punch or tag, and the guy.
It just hurts. It hurts. Yeah, it hurts.
Yeah,
to see him go down.
He's super happy. The biggest buck he's ever killed, for sure. So I can't blame him for that.
Nope, I can't either.
But yeah, they die. I mean, if anything, like I was saying, I at least get the communication to know that he's dead.
Yep.
Versus the unknown going through the season, the assumption, I guess, that he got shot or did die at some point.
Yep.
So yeah, just part of it.
Made room for another one, I guess.
Made room for another one. Yeah, that's just how it goes. So, but yeah, moment of silence for him.
That will be interesting to see. I don't typically see like this one's gone now, a bunch pile it in, or I've not seen that.
No, but he for sure backfilled your 11 point or 12 point that you killed.
Yeah, I think so too.
It kind of, that deer got pushed, removed from the herd, and he therefore then took his core area. Like that was his spot. He covered more ground than that deer did, as a 4-year-old normally would, but yeah, he owned that.
They got to get lucky, man. They got to slip through, and they got to, 4 years old, that's when they seem to be really, really vulnerable.
Yeah, and they're considered a big buck by a lot of people at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he was, whatever, mid to high 50s as a 4-year-old. Like, he was a stud.
Yeah.
So, anyways, we have a guest today.
Yeah, moving on.
Moving on.
So, I don't know if he's been highly requested, but at least in our friend group, it's been a long time coming. I think so. Dustin Moll is Mall Rat, as we call him, is on with us today, and I met Dustin, I think 2 or maybe 3 years ago now.
Was it the year that you killed the big one? Is that the first year you met him?
It was, yeah, in North Dakota. And I remember at that time you being like, "Oh yeah, I know Dustin Moll. Like I see him chirping on Facebook all the time. He's the one with the Facebook
time. Yeah,
and yeah, he definitely lived up to that expectation. So.
Classic.
So Dustin's a lot of fun, and he kills a lot of freaking.
I was gonna
say,
if anything, it may be because I just pay attention to him all more now. Like I just see him hunting and killing. Like he just brings death to a lot of deer. This year.
He killed that year too. He was the only other the year in North Dakota that I killed. He was the only other one that.
I don't know how many he's killed this year, but a few,
three or four,
at least.
I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
So, and it's our buddy Nick Camo that has perpetually been like, dude, you got to get Moll on. He's a freaking killer, So
yeah. So here he is.
And he's right, and here he is.
How we doing?
Good, man.
First off, I'd like to say sorry about the buck.
Oh yeah.
I'm sad for you.
Yeah, they die. That's what they do.
Especially in Illinois, they seem to cover a lot of ground.
Yeah.
We see it common, dude. It's just like it's inevitable. So it's like you just gotta be happy for the ones that do make it, And it's like
when they cover those loops, it's tough. Like you see him just making the loops on camera, and it's like, boy, he's visible. If he would have made it, honestly, I would have been surprised. I think is the way I would have looked.
Yeah.
But yeah, that happens. They're still there.
Yeah, it's the way she goes. I mean, the nice thing is your 2.5-year-olds over there are bigger than most people's 3.5, 4.5-year-olds. So
that's true. That's true.
Do you hunt in Illinois very often, Dustin? Or
yeah, I have. There's a couple in here. There's one above me that's from Illinois. I got 3 bucks from Illinois, and then I actually shot a real big one 1 year in Illinois, and he died on the neighbors, and we were unable to get it.
Really?
Yeah,
they said no.
They said no way. We called him, and basically, long story short, he just said, "I'm sick of you guys killing all my up and comers." Which, I mean, this thing was a giant typical. I mean, he was north of 190. I feel like it kind of reminded me of that buck Jim Tomey shot that year with us with G2s. Yeah, it was a lot like that one. And he's like, "I'm sick of you guys killing my up and comers." Well, that one deer I killed off that line was like 189, and we're like, okay. And he's like, "Coyotes got to eat too."
Damn.
Like, all right. Yeah. And we called the CO or whatever, the game warden, and he said there's millions of dollars spent every year on people trying to get deer. He said it's uphill battle, and we just kind of gave up on it.
Millions of dollars, like spent on what?
Trying
in
to
like the courtroom, in the courtroom and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, really?
I guess, I don't know. I just took his word for it. I mean, it was hard not to do like a black ops mission and go get that thing, but you know, it would have impacted my local buddies and stuff too, you know, so it was tough.
Wow.
It was a long drive home. A lot of bridges looked appealing.
Oh, that's a bummer.
I mean, you know, he was accusing you guys of shooting up and comers. I mean, were other people on that property killing young bucks, or was he just bitter about the whole situation?
Yeah, I think it was bitter, you know, just like we were saying, you know, them Illinois deer seem to cover some serious ground, and it's a matter of when, you know, they're going to leave his property. He had a big piece, and it was like CRP, you know, that river bottom floods, you know, quite a bit. So a lot of that ground is waste ground now, which is amazing deer habitat. So it's just a matter of when they leave, you know, and he had some food plots and stuff, so.
Yeah, he thought they shouldn't leave.
Well, a lot of people own the deer, I'm finding out in my journeys.
Yeah. Well, and you guys were out there just last year for the tether deal. That was Illinois, right?
Yeah, we were down south, though.
Was it Indiana?
Indiana was 2023.
Okay, 2 years ago. Yep. And then that last year was Illinois.
Yep. We were down in the hills.
Down at like deep south, like in the cypress swamps too?
No, we were in what is it? The Shawnee?
Yep.
Yeah. It's got some of that.
You get too far south and then you get into the cypress swamps.
It was a fun hunt. I had a great time. Screwed up on a big one there too. Yep.
Cool. Well, hey Dustin, just for our listeners, give us some context for where are you from? Just give a little intro to yourself. There's no pressure. Just tell us, you know, even where we know each other from, and you know, a little bit about your bow hunting background there, just a little bit.
Yeah, I'm from Dilworth, Minnesota, and I started bow hunting probably when I was 13. I got a Shields gift card for Christmas, and I was big into waterfowl back then. And my stepdad encouraged me to use that gift card to get a bow, and that's kind of where it all started. And had a little bit of a break there in my 20s, and then about 27 seemed like the killing spree started.
and how old are you now, Dustin? The killing spree.
38.
38. Okay.
Yeah, so for the last 11 years, the whitetails have feared you.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but I've been fortunate for sure.
Yeah. So when you started, Dustin, when you were 13, then was your hunt mainly Wisconsin with your stepdad, or forgive me, Minnesota?
Yep. Yeah, we just go hit, you know, ladder stands that we had pre-hung on some permission stuff, and I don't recall, you know, acknowledging the wind a whole lot and stuff like that. And you know, you're shooting a light poundage bow, and your quiver's full of, you know, 4 or 5 different aluminum arrows, and there's different broadheads on the end of that arrow, you know. And yeah, I think I stuck my first 6-pointer my first year out, and back to the broadheads, arrows, and poundage. You know, I probably didn't even shoot those broadheads, so I actually hit them kind of high, and we lost them. But then they found them when they were combining the corn. Yeah.
Cool. And was that like, did you guys have a family farm or like permission someplace, or where did that kind of get going?
Yeah, that was kind of back in the golden day when it was pretty easy to get on anywhere.
Yeah.
Yep. No family ground. You know, the way it is nowadays, I don't even mess with permission stuff a whole lot. It's just non-existent, it seems. And you just, I don't know, I feel like I run into more headaches on private ground than I do on public.
So you're hunting a lot of public now then?
Pretty much strictly public. The only private I hunted this year was down in South Dakota there with that mule deer.
Wow.
That's right. You've been trying to coax us out there for a little while now. I keep teasing Jeremy with them, like, Mom knows a place to go in South Dakota.
We did it once, and it was not all it was cracked up to be.
We had a tough time in South Dakota. Jeremy and I are, like, guilty probably of having a bad experience somewhere and then being like, we're never going back.
We sink the ship.
Yeah, we burn the bridge.
I've watched this place deteriorate significantly in the last 5 years.
Where you're at in South Dakota?
Wow. Easy, bud.
No. I said, is that what you're saying? Is the
I thought it was question. Where are you at?
He's going right for the jugular.
No. I said,
I was like, holy cow, man, we got. I mean, I know you guys are a big deal and got this Magnum following. My goodness.
I don't know. I don't want to know where you're at. What I'm saying is
we call that spot burning, Jared. Jeez.
I said, is that what you're saying? Is the place that's?
I think I got some internal bleeding here.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's where we're at down there in West River, South Dakota.
So what do you think's the deterioration there? Is it EHD? Is it hunting pressure? Is it all of the above?
You know, on all these forums, it seems like you see a lot of people griping about the non-resident hunters and stuff like that, but the pressure has definitely went up. I've seen that, but I just don't buy it, because I mean, non-residents are killing bucks at the end of the day.
Yeah, for sure.
They're not sustaining the herd. I don't know. I mean, we had a bad winter there, and I think it was 2022. Those nasty spring blizzards kind of wipe them out, and you hear things about EHD and stuff, but I guess my understanding was muleys were always a little bit more tolerant to the EHD. So
that would seem right.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I don't know. I'd love to know, to be honest. I mean, it makes you wonder what's going on. I mean, the numbers kind of seem down as collectively as a whole in the whole country. So it's like, what the heck's going on?
Because it does seem weird, like, that connection even to where you guys are hunting with Lucas in North Dakota, like the numbers are significantly down there, right, in the last 5 years.
Yeah. So I met Lucas, what was it? We got to be going on 10, 11 years now. And when I first started going out there, I had private ground to hunt, and I've never seen anything like it. The volume of deer in fields, it was like, I found the promised land. I thought maybe I died and I was in eternity, So, yeah. And to what it is now, you're lucky to see 10 deer out in the field on a drive about.
Yeah, and see, that makes no sense, right? Because that's not just purely hunting pressure that's knocking it back.
No, well, it's every year we're out there, Lucas is constantly like speculating, I guess, as to why that is. And this year's the first year since I've been going, which is fairly short sample size, but it's 3-4 years now. It's always it's been kind of doom and gloom. It's like, oh man, you should have been out here 10, 15 years ago. They were just kind of like we were saying. And this year was the first year that his tone kind of changed on it. And we've been on like just a text chain of a group that was there this year, Moll. And there's been, seemingly it seems like quite a few more sightings of like, some decent bucks here and stuff. And so Lucas shot that, whatever it was, 60s deer. His dad got one the other day, Colin and a couple of them other guys, so guys are getting them and they're seeing more of them. It's definitely not like, what they claim it used to be there, but there seems to be some optimism. Again, there's I don't think
none of those deer were slouches either.
No, they're all good deer.
But and one thing too, I kind of wonder too is, does migration play a little bit of a role, or are we maybe getting some, in his location, are getting a little bit of overflow from, say down the river or whatever, so they're starting to spread out a little bit more just to. I don't know. It's tough to say, but it's beautiful landscape and the habitat's there. It's just hard to understand why they wouldn't be there.
Seems like a common theme, Moll, and you cover enough states, but we've even just been talking about like my place in Kentucky, Southeast Ohio, obviously this year with EHD, but
Northeast
Kansas. It's like I can't remember a year that so many places in the Whitetail range we're talking low deer densities, and maybe it's because we were spoiled in the early to mid 2000s with just how high populations were, and that's why. Yeah. And the habitat couldn't sustain it or whatever it is to set it back. But the common theme, like we just said, we were talking to Rendell Eric. Like the common theme has been low deer density areas in places that seem to have really good deer habitat and or soil quality. Even like doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's kind of a mystery. It makes you wonder.
Does that hold up, Moll, across what states did you hunt in this year?
Minnesota, South Dakota, North Dakota, and Missouri.
Yeah. I mean, what would you say, like overall, how were the sightings? Like, did you have decent hunts in most of those, or?
Yeah, I would say, well, my side of the state, North Dakota, I kind of hunt a weird area. It's big time farm ground, so it's never really truly had like the big numbers. I kind of, it's kind of where I coined that phrase, hunting the crumbs. I'm out just looking for breadcrumbs, trying to find those deer. But I mean, they're down for sure. I did stop and ask for permission 2 years ago on a piece, and the farmer's like, yeah, I'd let you, but we found, 80 deer just in our quarter section last year dead. Well, they obviously must have been wintering on them, but 80 deer in a quarter section, that's a lot of deer.
That's a ton of deer.
Unless he was stretching it, but they yard up so bad over here in the winters, so they'll move maybe 10 miles for wintering grounds in that part of North Dakota.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and for the most part, yeah, the numbers seem low everywhere. My county in Minnesota seems to be doing really well, especially the doe numbers. There's plenty of does. And as far as Missouri goes, this is my first time, so I can't really say here nor there. But I will say I saw very few does on that trip. But I don't ever hunt the does, so.
Yeah, right. When was that, Moll? When were you in Missouri?
That was November 1st to the 9th, which is probably my least favorite week of the year to hunt almost. I'm just not a big rut hunter, but I mean, I had a absolute amazing hunt. I mean, I ended up missing one on that trip. And
you did?
Yeah, it was, I kind of gave the cameraman the strong side of the tree, and he was coming in behind me and he goes, deer, deer. And I'm like, shooter? And he's like, I don't know. Shooter? I don't know. I mean, so I don't know if he thought I was like Don Higgins or what, but so I grabbed my bow a little bit late, and he's got me pinned at 4 yards, and I'm holding my bow. You guys know the drill. I'm just holding it. I knew there was zero wind, dead calm. So I'm sure he saw my arm. I'm pretty tough, but not tough enough to stay still,
Yeah. Yeah. You were doing the old iron cross in the tree. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And those trees, everything's TSI down there. So it's a telephone pole every 30 yards, and those deer come in looking up, and it's a tough hunt. I mean, we got busted a lot. Granted, we had two big bowling balls hanging up in the tree, but yeah, he came in and he was at about, I don't know, 4 to 6 yards. He was tight on us. And I mean, I was looking at him down like this between my elbow and my, my hip. And as soon as he took off, I, spun 360 and I lowered down because I had to shoot under some stuff, and I macked at him. But from, watching the footage from the time I spun to the time that arrow was released, we're talking 3 seconds, and I'm not used to shooting deer past 20 yards. So he was at 30 and I 20 pinned him for a heart shot. And if he would have ducked, it would have got him for sure, but there was no duckage. I didn't even allow him to fully turn his head all the way around. I mean, my arrow was off when he was 3/4 head turn.
Yep.
And he was quartering away. So, I mean, I just rushed the shot. I'm not used to, you kind of get that panic, like, oh my God, this deer's going to leave the county. I got to get my arrow off. And, yeah, rookie mistake, I guess. I didn't talk, when you're rushed and you lower down like that, you kind of lose your mind, and like, I got to kill this deer before he runs out of my life. And, we ended up having another shooter come in after that deer that morning, and it was just a little bit out of my comfort range. He was probably like 45 yards or something. I don't really care to make those shots. But we had a great hunt, lots of encounters, and I actually did get a glimpse of a bigger deer that morning too, just a quick glimpse. And I didn't even tell the cameraman about it because I didn't want him going back to camp and sharing the news or whatever. But I kind of sold my soul to that piece and kind of handcuffed myself a little bit because the pressure down there is ridiculous. And I just kind of found the backside of a property. We were actually accessing through private. Just like 10 feet of private, and then it was public. And I just kind of, found that little bit of an unpressured pocket, and had a good hunt. And then I ended up pressuring the crap out of that spot and just couldn't never get back on a deer I wanted to kill, and then just relocated and, passed plenty of good deer, but I don't know. I'd rather pass a 130 and let someone else shoot it this year or maybe even next year. I just don't have any desire to stack skull mounts anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That might be the worst week to hunt Missouri public. So many people just set their vacation for that week.
Yeah, man. I thought Minnesota was pretty bad. This was bad, I mean, there was borderline. There was times where I maybe wanted to, create a wrestling match. Jared's been dodging those for a while, but
I can't make weight. That's my problem. I'd have to go up a couple weight classes.
Jeez, no kidding. Especially now, it's like 215 last night.
Oh,
He was looking for any opportunity to throw the weight out.
yeah.
Sour Patch Kids, man. I tell you,
do it, man. Yeah, it's just water weight.
I should buy stock in those things every year during hunting season.
Well, what's that look like, dude? In Missouri, that's one state I've never hunted. Have you ever hunted there?
Yeah, I lived there.
Yeah, that's right.
For 5 years.
That's right. That's when you were going to Kansas.
That's why I said it's the worst. I mean, from a guy who lived there, so the gun season's early in Missouri, not as early as Minnesota or Kentucky, but like, that second Saturday, basically.
Yeah. Is there a lot of public there?
Yeah. Yeah. But it's just, there's a lot of pressure too.
So we were in the northerly section, and I mean, there was enough public there if it was just our group hunting. Yep. But in the grand scheme of things, there wasn't a lot of public, not like anything I'm used to.
Mm-hmm. Like big swatches of land type of thing.
Yeah, I like hunting the checkerboards, the small pieces, and and that seems to spread people out too. But gosh, yeah, I've never seen anything like it. There were so many guys, and when we that first encounter with the deer and they're coming in looking up, you're like, all right, this is going to be a freaking this is going to be a grind of a week. And no offense to my cameraman, but I mean, if you don't I don't know how to word it, I don't want to beat them up, but if your deer etiquette's not on, if you can't move when you need to move, or if you're just not familiar with that behavior, it makes it a challenge. We got busted a lot. So,
well, what was it with that deer, Moll? I mean, clearly, you saw it as a shooter. He didn't recognize it as a shooter, or just
I don't know how. I mean, we're talking 160-inch deer. It was a hammer.
Yeah, so it should have been an instant shooter, not deer. Comment.
Yeah, I mean, 155 on the low end. I mean, this big, tall tine, sweeping long beams. I mean, he had like a 10-inch brow at least.
Oh wow,
we call those Prussia brows around here.
Yeah.
I don't know for sure if he had matching brows. So basically all I need to do, when I have a deer coming in, I see frame. If he, you can tell if it's a 140 or not frame. And that's when I decide it's crunch time. And then, I'm not measuring the deer as he's coming in.
Yeah.
The second I make the decision to draw blood, I don't really pay attention. So I didn't really even get a good true look at the deer until, post-shot footage. But
yeah, well, and you guys get paired up with that, right? Like, so, and can I say that was part of like the tethered deal, and so they've got like a handful of camera guys, that they're gonna like allot to you. Is that how that works?
Yes, sir.
It wasn't like you're hunting all season with this guy, right? Like it's the first time you ever hunted with this guy. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's just it. We had a small learning curve hunt together that morning, and then we relocated. I had the encounter the second morning, so we had a little kind of warm up hunt. The first day, a little morning sit, and then kind of did an evening sit. But I scouted that piece. I found that deer on the evening, and we actually bumped the deer on the top. And just based on the scrapes and stuff, I was like, oh yeah, I kind of have an idea what's going on. We're going to catch him in the morning up top. And that's what happened. But yeah, I mean, it takes time to get used to this, guys. I mean, my cameraman, he's probably seen more deer die than I have. I don't know. Maybe not. That might be a stretch, but he had the experience, no doubt,
Well, how do they do that? Like, how do they, who are these like cameramen? Are they guys that work for Tethered, or are they just people that, volunteer for the opportunity, or?
It's kind of a mixed bag, There's Wade, he had, you met Wade at Lucas's there. He had a buddy come with him from Michigan. He filmed.
Okay. And Wade works for Tethered, right? He works for that company? No, I'm wrong.
No, he's just kind of similar to me.
Oh, just a killer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wade's a killer for sure.
Okay.
He's really good. One thing about Wade is the dude can drop pins, and odds of seeing a deer on that pin is pretty high.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
That's a skill.
Huh?
That's a big skill.
Yeah. He's got like one of those engineer brains, and, it's just, I'm not a hills guy. I don't know. I mean, I'd put him against, he would struggle out here hunting my stuff, but in the hills, I mean, he's pretty dialed at dropping pins and getting on deer. He just kind of focuses on those topography transitions and stuff like that, using LiDAR and stuff. And He's really good at it, though. I mean, he's real good.
Yeah. You guys travel and hunt much together, you and Wade?
Well, that year you met him, we came up and hunted with you guys for a few days, and then we went down to South Dakota and chased muleys around.
I remember.
Yeah, we had a great hunt too. I mean, so even just from last year to this year, I've seen a significant decline in the numbers.
That's crazy,
I mean,
man.
it is.
It wasn't a bad weather winter, was it?
No, we had a phenomenal winter. I mean, there's a lot of big deer going down in Minnesota, big thanks to that winter.
Jeez. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense because we've primarily been focused on North Dakota muleys when we're doing our muley stuff out there. And, the first couple of years that we hunted out there, I mean, good populations. We saw really good deer, a lot of them on private, not on public, but close, like we're hunting, borders to it. And then we hit drought, which really threw, a kink in the Badlands side of things, especially as the cattle grazing got pushed up into it and pushed a lot of deer into grasslands. But that 22 winter for sure took a toll, and that's when they started cutting tags back, which we were all for. I mean, it made sense, but
it ended quick for us.
Yeah.
We had a great first year. Second year was tough, and then we haven't been able to draw tags.
We drew the third year. We canceled because we're like, it was droughted again. We're like, yeah, we're not going back to do. But we had drawn every year, so it's like, what's the big deal? Just cancel this year. We'll go next year. Never saw it again.
I helped friend fill a North Dakota rifle tag on a muley this year, and we spent a day in the Badlands. That's all it took was,
really?
Yeah, we killed that afternoon. But we saw, I didn't even see a small buck. Every buck we saw, the first buck we went up and set up on a saddle right away. First morning, I just dropped the pin and we went in and had an absolute hammer come through. But it was kind of, right, 10, 15 minutes after legal light, and just, he was acting like a whitetail, on a estrus scent. He was moving quick and just couldn't get the gun on him, and he ran out of our lives, and it was super rough in there, and the person that I was hunting with just wasn't cut out for that. So we kind of relocated and went out to the grass and got on one pretty quick. But based on what I was seeing, I would certainly go back.
That's how it should be, man, because they cut the tags like by 70 or 80% for all archery, but especially the non-resident side of things on that any deer aspect. So, I mean, for 3+ years, like, it hasn't had near the pressure it had for the previous 5 or 10.
Right. And in the grand scheme of things too, I mean, I don't know the figures, but there really isn't that many non-resident tags, archery tags given out in North Dakota.
300.
And then, what is it?
300.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
300 for muleys or
for muleys. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So that's what I mean. You spread that out, over those muley ranges. That's not a lot of guys. There's plenty of room. Yeah, the numbers aren't banging, but there's enough there, and the age structure is, real good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think if a guy was willing to grind, you could probably have a good time.
So I don't know what we have. Are we up to 3 points now there in North Dakota?
Yeah.
3?
Yep.
So yeah, every year we're like, it's going to happen this year.
The HUNTR Podcast is brought to you by Predator Camo.
Man, this one feels good, right? I know people have been looking at this picture over your shoulder for a while now. I think that was 2018, but we just, over the last, how many years, keep coming back to Predator Camo because it's been so damn good for us.
No doubt. I think we bought our first set off of Jen at the Archer Trade Show almost 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And Jen's still with the company, and the patterns have, only improved since then. They actually were recently acquired within the past couple of years. We've had a chance this past year to go and meet with new ownership, talk about redesigning a lot of the old lines, plans for new patterns, all of the above. So really excited about what's to come, not only this coming year, but in years to come. There's a lot of good stuff coming from Predator.
Yeah, and I mean, for us, it's always been going back to that breakup pattern, right? That's the historic look, whether you're talking about the spring greens or brown deceptions or fall grays. Yeah. I mean, that breakup is really what's been so powerful for us in a tree stand. And right now, they're letting anyone use the code HUNTR on the Predator Camo website and get 20% off any of the lines, including all the new stuff that dropped here in July.
Be the Predator.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I love North Dakota. And we hunted one time in South Dakota, and we were kind of bound to weird boundaries of a private land because of the way that South Dakota is with, non-residents can't hunt public until October 1.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So we
rolled it out for us too, because like at that point, we're refocusing on whitetail. The reason we came to North Dakota to begin with was like just something before the season. Even it's like it's like early. That's why we looked at the muleys there and stuff, and then I don't even think realized until after the fact that whitetails was like kind of a possibility. We're like, oh, you can do that early there too, and so. That's kind of as far as we've taken it. Let's try to do something before October. But once you figure that out, you're like, man, what else is out there? What else can I do in the month of September?
And my outlook on everything with these numbers is, I'm a go no matter what, right? You might have to work a little bit harder, but I don't think the opportunity's gone by any means in any of these places.
Mm-mm.
You just might have to, grab an extra gear or two. And
yeah.
I mean, that muley I got this year, I covered ground. I was like marching. I mean, it was almost worse than shed hunting how much ground I was covering.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a gun in my hands. So I was to the point where I'm just going to try and walk up on somebody,
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's all it was.
I think that's where it is. I mean, that like even that elk I killed in Kentucky this year, I mean, I covered ground and it it's not like it was 10 years ago in that terrain. Like you can't see anything. It's just all grown up and it's gnarly thick. And so, you're looking for tracks and trying to find rubs and, get into areas. And maybe if you're lucky, you hear a bugle, but most of the people that are local down there, like, yeah, they're not here and you're not going to kill them. You best kill the first raghorn you see. But I didn't see anything that leads me to believe that they're not there either. Like, it's just, if you're not out there reading sign and like spending time out there, you aren't going to know that the elk are there. I mean, most of the guys are like, yeah, man, I've been running cameras and I'm not seeing them. And it's like, all right, but like they're there. So the fact that you're not getting anything on camera, it doesn't, like, you're just missing them essentially.
Yeah. Handcuffed by the cameras, man. I don't even run cameras anymore. I hate cameras.
Really?
Absolutely. Yep. Hate them.
Well, dude, and maybe tie that in here as you get into it, but like, give us a breakdown of like year to year. Is there kind of a circuit that you're on there? Is there like 2 or 3 key states? Obviously Minnesota, home state, you can go every year. The Dakotas. So talk to me about like what, where are you going? Not exactly, but where are you going? And then like, how are you dialing that in? Are you going to, like, it's public? You said that. Is it known spots every year? Are you starting fresh? Is Wade dropping pins for you and just saying, go here? How are you playing those out? And start with this, if you would. I'm sorry to cut you off. How many did you kill this year? Did you kill one in every one of those states except Missouri so far?
Yes, sir. So I got two in South Dakota, a muley and a whitetail in South Dakota.
I want to set the preface for, it's not like you're just going and hunting. It's like you're killing deer in every one of these spots, like every year.
Yeah, and the last few years it's been extremely efficient. Minnesota was my 3rd sit, North Dakota 2nd sit, South Dakota 2nd sit, and honestly,
there you go.
It's not even the rack. I mean, the efficiency is kind of what excites me now, But my Minnesota spot, I've actually killed 3 years in a row on that spot. It's a giant piece of public. It gets hammered. There's cameras everywhere. I've even found bait piles and stuff. But yeah, I mean, honestly, only scouting I'll maybe do is a little bit during shed season. And then if I have time in August, I'll just drive and, try and glass some velvet a little bit. But, I go into these spots with the utmost faith in myself and the spot that it's holding a deer that I want to kill, So it's not like I know the deer that I kill. I just assess the properties, okay, what is everybody else doing? Where are they hunting? Where could I maybe find a buck that's not pressured, that's going to move during daylight? And then I just go in there with the utmost confidence, and it seems to work out for me. A big thing I pay attention to is, obviously barometer. Everybody kind of plays that game, but something I've really been paying attention to is like dew point. Like on my Minnesota hunt, we were looking at, I think it was like 65 for the high that day. but the low dropped way down low, just above freezing. And what I like to see on those, when I see those real low lows, I like to see where that dew point just about hits or hits or goes under. And every whitetail I've killed in the last probably 3 years, fell in line with that dew point equation. Obviously, the barometer kind of comes hand in hand on that too. Because there's some kind of front, like that Minnesota deer, we had a midday wind shift. We switched from, we had a north for 2 days, and I saw that the wind was switching to a southwest around like, 11 o'clock, and I was at work. So that was on a Friday, I believe. And I was like, I got to get out, and I just knew of some habitat where those deer would potentially bed on a north wind, and I set myself up where I was practically giving them the wind. And a lot of times on those wind shifts out here in the prairie, especially, I feel like on those wind shifts, they'll get up out of their beds and they'll move with the wind in their face. And I like to use that to my advantage. I mean, my deer came in literally, I shot him at like 6 yards or less. And I mean, if he was 5 more yards to the west, he would have got my wind, and almost every whitetail I've killed, they pretty much have the wind. I just super aggressive. I got nothing to lose,
So you're splitting hairs on that of knowing that you're giving them the wind, but if they do what they're supposed to do, you still have it somewhat in your favor.
Yeah, and I'll use like topography to my advantage, right? So that deer, he's not going to walk downwind to me the way say I got a slight fold or some topography or something. I force, I know he's going to navigate, using that wind with that feature where my wind is, casting, paralleling him basically. So I do that quite a bit.
Well, Moll, if I'm meteorologically challenged, talk about the dew point thing there. What is that you're focusing in on, or what is the dew point mean to us or them?
Yeah, I mean, say, the dew point that morning, that evening overnight low was, it was, what was it? I want to say it was like 33 or something.
Okay.
And the dew point was like 35.
Okay.
So the temps were going to drop.
What is that? What is the dew point? Is that something you get on like weather underground?
That's what. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, it's self-explanatory, right? When the dew's on the ground, that means the temps reached or surpassed that dew point.
Got it.
Temp surpass. Say it one more time.
So if the dew point's 35 and or if it's 35
and the temp hits 33.
Yep, you've got dew on the grass.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
There you go.
Yep. And I pay attention to that. Sometimes I'll teeter on the, 1 degree, maybe 2 degrees north of that. But when it hits or, goes below that, I'm pretty intrigued to get out.
So
okay. You're gonna have to walk me through.
So hypothetically, if the dew point's 35 and the temperature hits 37, you're still saying, there's some favorability there.
Yeah.
But really looking for the temperature to go below the dew point that's listed.
Yes, sir.
Why is that? What does that create?
I think part of it is that moisture, right? So deer can't, deer, dogs, you ever been pheasant hunting in a super dry climate and the dog,
tough.
It's so dry and they're getting their butts kicked. Well, when that dew point hits, I personally believe the deer use that to their advantage, right? They got all that moisture. It's going to keep them on their feet a little bit longer in the mornings, or and
I'd buy that.
Yeah, so I mean, I used to take notes every hunt, right? And I'm not good at a lot of things, but apparently deer hunting is one thing. And I just got sick of failing, and I just kind of started cross-referencing my encounters. There was some similarities, right? I'd always have my encounters on those, naturally the same barometer type systems. I mean, everybody's been kind of a post-front fan for years. But when you kind of get that stagnant weather, you can still kind of find those little opportunities, without a front, so to say. You know what I mean?
Just certain days that barometer rises on like just a bump, basically.
Yeah, just a little bump. And then, just think, so like that week, it was October 9th, I killed, the overnight lows were, let's say, mid to high 40s.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then that next low when I killed was, just about tickling a frost.
Yep.
Which was the dew point too, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's another thing. If it's unseasonably warm and it hits that frost, in the dew point, my Minnesota buck last year, I killed him in the morning on, I want to say it was October 12th, and I rarely sit mornings that time of year, but that was a no-brainer, and it was super foggy, and I just knew that those deer would be dragging their butts that morning because, the fog for one,
mm-hmm.
and then that first frost,
And on a foggy morning like that, if I'm thinking correctly, like a dew point is fairly high on those mornings, right?
Oh, it's soaked. Yeah. I walk out with rain pants on.
Yep.
So, and they, so they think everything's in their advantage, it can smell everything. And I don't know, it's just a theory of mine, it's not like it's fact, but it seems to be working for me. And people always ask me how I'm doing what I'm doing, and a lot of it's just intuition. I'm reading things as I go, and looking at overhead, wondering how deer can navigate these properties. But it's really hard for me to lay it out on a blueprint. The dew point's the easiest thing for me to give people, but I don't know. I just think some people got it and some people don't. It's maybe like a gift or something. It's just kind of what you were put here to do. I don't know.
Well, I think
it's hard to explain.
There's got to be something to them on that. Like obviously you have a caliber of deer in mind that, like you said, when you lay eyes on the frame or whatever, you're like, I'm going to draw blood on it. That isn't necessarily around every corner, right? Like there's an art to finding the area that's going to produce the type of deer that you're looking for too, on a consistent basis, especially.
Right. Yeah. I'm not. Everybody likes giants, but I'm at the point, being a public land rat. I don't know if a time will ever come where I'm too good for like a 140 class deer.
Mm-hmm.
It might be relative to where I'm at. If I draw Iowa next year, obviously I'll be having a little different attitude. But like I said, I have an understanding on how big deer like to bed, how they react to pressure. I use pressure to my advantage a lot. There was many years when I first started running and gunning, I'd get to a spot that I felt really good about, just with a pin drop or whatever. And I'm sure you've all done it. You get to a spot and it's been limbed out or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, everybody's thinking the same, right? So I just kind of shifted my thought process to where, everyone's doing the same. How can I get on deer, using land features, habitat, edges, topography, whatever. How can I use that to my advantage in areas that guys are more than likely overlooking? Or, I'm a saddle hunter, so there's times where I'll pull willows together and hang in willows because that's just what it's going to take, So
did you say?
I don't know.
Did you say limbed out? You say you get to an area and it's been limbed out?
Yeah, trimmed.
Oh yeah.
Oh, like you could just see that guys have been there, kind of a thing.
Yeah, or you'll see scars on trees or a trail camera. You can't do any of that in Minnesota, but guys are doing it.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, when you see that, Mom, how are and I'm not asking you to like give away the secret sauce there necessarily, but like, where does your mind then go? You're like, okay, there's pressure here. Are you going to bail out and look at maps again and go somewhere else?
Well, I'm to the point where I can almost look at a map and I can tell you where everyone's
getting
going.
Pressured. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, I don't even need to go there anymore, to be honest. So most of these spots, I'm killing first, second sit in.
Mm-hmm.
My Minnesota deer, that was first sit in.
Mm-hmm.
Just like I was saying earlier, I just trust that deer that I want to hunt is there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm optimistic and I got faith, and that's all. That's all I have. I'm not running cameras.
That's the only
like
assumption you're making, right? The assumption is the deer that you want to kill is there. Other than that, everything else is strategic to your thought process.
Yeah, if you leave the pickup with the attitude that he's not there, I'm gonna have a shitty sit. I think confidence and mentality and all that stuff, it plays a huge role in my opinion. And it's going to affect your decision making. And I tell my buddies that all the time, like, just trust that they're there, man. They'll second guess themselves and him and ha, or maybe they're parked at a parking lot. They'll back out and leave and go to a spot that they're more familiar with, because they're like, oh, I'm not going to have a good sit or whatever the case may be. But I don't know. I'll pick a spot and I stick to it and I just have the utmost confidence with it. A lot of times I'll pick them from home while I'm laying in bed, I'll onyx for an hour, 2 hours a night during the hunting season.
What would you say are like some of the overlooked, like, obviously on a map, you're looking for something. Is it, terrain features in most cases, or like some sort of creative access there? Like, what would you say are some of the things that you're capitalizing on that most people are overlooking? Like, here, I'll throw some at you that are like most commonly known. Like, everybody's like, oh, thermal hubs. So it's like a trending topic here for like 2 years.
Rut knob.
People know what saddles are. Yeah, like a rut knob.
Right. Well, I'm pretty flat where I'm at, so it's
flat
more, what's that?
Flat in front?
Flat brimmed.
Like Ken?
Yeah. I didn't catch the joke. I'm sorry.
I said you're flat like Ken.
Like who?
Ken is the male Barbie that doesn't have a wiener.
Oh, I got you. Well, you seen the bulge earlier on there.
I did. I saw that. That's why I made you change the orientation, because we were self-conscious.
I apologize for that. It's morning, Tease up.
She's Woody.
Yeah. You just had a school bus ride, and I get it.
Pulling some willows together there.
Yeah, dude. Guy starts touching
Your
antlers.
phone keeps wanting to drift down there.
I know. What's the deal here?
It's like it's trying to prove a point, I think.
There we go.
You're pulling a magnetic field out there.
Yeah, it's just hovering.
No, so around home, I'm just looking for those small pockets of habitat with dense side cover that, nobody's going to even acknowledge, it's too small or whatever it might be, and a lot of people walk past the good stuff to get to the good stuff,
Yeah, so I think that's a big one, because you're probably, like, if most people studying, whether it's onyx or whatever, you're looking at a map and there are clearly obvious places that we all are thinking like, ooh, that's the spot, right? So you're like, everybody's also thinking that they're going there.
Yeah, I have buddies, they'll send me spots or pins. What do you think? How would you approach this or address this or whatever it may be? And 80% of the time, I'm like, well, somebody else is thinking exactly like you are.
It's too obvious.
It's too obvious, yep. So, you say you got a piece of public over here on some river ground, nice rolling hills, oaks, stuff like that. Every other bow hunter that has onyx has looked at it.
Yep.
And every other bow hunter has drooled on it, thinking he's the only one that's ever found it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kind of do the opposite, I guess.
Yeah. And that's been a huge mental shift in the last 10 years, right? Because before electronic mapping and e-mapping, whatever you want to call it, e-scouting, it's like if you didn't put your boots on the ground, you didn't know that existed like it did unless it was old school topo maps and stuff like that. And most guys weren't doing that shit. So it didn't make a difference. Now it's like you said, there's literally 1,000 guys laying in bed looking at onyx, looking at the same piece of public, breaking it down in the exact same way that you're doing it. And that's scary to think about. That's the reason that it's super difficult to find a good spot.
When you put it in perspective, Moll, any given piece of, let's just use Missouri as an example, a piece of public that you've looked at, there's probably been hundreds of thousands of people that have looked remotely at the exact same piece of timber.
For sure.
And thought,
at least tens of thousands.
So another theory of mine is maybe there's a slight evolution of deer, right? Back to the thermal hubs thing.
Mm-hmm.
They're used to getting pressured in those areas, and mama doe passed on those areas as high pressure to their offspring.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of another theory I have. I kind of try and hunt them differently because maybe they're navigating them, these properties differently based on, historic pressure. I hate hunting thermal hubs, period. Not a fan.
From a standpoint of getting away with things?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a waste of my time, in my opinion.
It's not that they're not there. It's just good luck killing them there.
Yeah, I mean everything's got to fall in place,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of times those windows are short and few and far between.
Agree.
But a lot,
Yeah.
there was a buzz. I mean, that was 2022. I mean, that was probably the number one used word in podcast community
Thermal
was
hub.
thermal hub.
Mm-hmm.
Which is what
But
exactly? It's just basically a bottom with a scrape in it, right?
Yeah,
everything converges.
Likely there's a scrape there. Yeah.
Yeah, everything converges at that bottom, you know.
A convergence.
You know,
Yep.
It's a good observation point, like if you put a camera.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or a good spot to, see if there's, deer making scrapes and whatnot in the area. But I don't even like going down. I don't even like going down there. I don't even like stepping foot in there. But I noticed in Missouri that stuff's kind of, it's more tight. Like the drainages are tighter and
Yep.
stuff like that. And I mean, these deer, they acted more elky, in my opinion. They were kind of bedding at the, I don't know the proper term, but the top of the drainage,
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, just the way I'd see them navigate the hills, they kind of had more of an elk vibe to them than, say whitetails I've seen in other hill areas.
Interesting.
But
Yeah, because I think a lot of people look at those spots. I mean, dude, just the number of people, like whether it's on Facebook or whatever, that are snapshotting a piece of public land, and it's like it's literally thousands of acres, and they're like, where do I start? I'm like, where do you want to start? Like, dude, there's so much area that you can cover here, and so much you can do. And you just basically told 15,000 people where you're thinking about hunting at the same time.
yeah, right.
Well, it's hard.
Yeah,
It's hard to find, man. I mean, it's like we just said it. There's at least tens of thousands of people that have looked at almost every piece. It's like, so you're sitting there, we're all doing the same thing, trying to think about it a way that somebody else hasn't, or at least that like they're not going to be acting on at the same time there. So it's like, dude, it's a tough game. I give you a lot of credit for having all that success on public, man. I mean, you're
efficient as well.
That efficiently it's a big deal.
yeah. I think part of it too is, say these guys or somebody else picks the same, picks like a crumb spot. I started calling them crumb spots back in like 2018. Say somebody picks these little spots exactly like I do, or they want to hunt the spot like I do, but they're still not going to hunt it the same.
Yeah. In terms of the mindset or the approach to the spot.
Yeah, as far as access, using the wind to their favor, whatever the case may be. I mean, I love giving the deer the wind, and I just kind of have that mentality where if I get busted, so be it. I'll just go find another one and kill them on a different property. That's just the way. That's my mentality.
And that's the advantageous thought process of public land, right? Like, there's a lot of downfalls of public, but the fact that you can basically just pick up and go find another one is a big advantage of public.
Well, and I mean, how do you do that, Moll? How do you just give them the wind and ever be successful with that?
Well, I mean, I make them think they have the wind, right? If they're navigating with the wind in their favor, they think they have it, but you got to, envision what your scent cone's doing and utilize that. I got some cool footage on my North Dakota buck this year, and he literally paralleled my wind all the way in. All he had to do was jump over, I don't know, 8 yards.
Yeah.
And it would have saved his life.
Hairs on it is what you're doing.
Yeah, so basically what this piece was, I seen him on a Saturday night, just a quick glimpse. I never got a frontal look on him. I seen his 5-point side. He looked heavy. It's probably like a 200-yard glimpse. That was pre-front. And the front rolled through, and I went back, I think it was a Monday. And I knew I was killing the deer. I actually told Rob from Tethered, I talked to him on the phone on the way there, and I'm like, dude, I'm gonna notch my tag right now in the truck. I was just being cocky about it. I was just that confident. And he's like, do it, man, video it and do it. But that little bit of doubt didn't let me do it. But it was pretty cool, that it came together like that. But I adjusted. So I found this scrape. I found a small clump of trees, and there was some down cottonwoods, from wind or whatever. And he was making a scrape on, the top of that cottonwood that fell. Big old scrape. And after I saw him, I was like, he's got it, the way the deer density is, I'm like, he's the only mature deer around, it's just his scrape, gotta be, Well, I knew once that wind shift, he was gonna downwind that timber that I was hunting. And eventually he, worked his way towards the cornfield. And I knew if I just used that scrape to my advantage, right? So I kicked myself off to the side, 25 yards from that prevailing wind or whatever. And I just knew there was enough downfall in there where he couldn't see. I mean, it was pretty open cottonwoods, but there was enough downfall and stuff where if he was south of me, he would have never been able to see that scrape. Yep. So if I knew if I made enough noise where, if he was downwind of me, he'd have to come see that scrape. It would drive him nuts because he couldn't see in there who was in there doing what. So as soon as I saw him, I just started making a little bit more noise, as he kept moving. I knew I had his attention. He's flicking his tail, all that stuff. And he was making scrapes in the CRP with, no overhang branches. And it's probably
pissed off.
Oh yeah, tons of attitude. He was a mature deer for sure. But I knew I had his attention, and he hit this cover line. So this cover line, it was basically like dogwood, and I knew that he would use that to get to me. And he hit that dogwood, and he was going to turn and go south. So I got real aggressive with the grunt call, and he just turned on a dime, and he's like, all right, I got to see who's at this scrape. And he came in and he paralleled my wind the whole way in, and he got so close I couldn't even get the camera on him. I couldn't even point it down, to get on him, and shot him, who knows, like 4 yards, 5 yards from the base of my tree. I have no idea. He was tight.
Yeah.
But, so, I mean, I went into it knowing that scrape was there, and I knew he was going to downwind that set of woods. And I just knew if I made enough noise that he couldn't take it, not being able to see who was in there screwing around on that scrape.
And when you say noise, Moll, are you just like raking, or are you grunting? Like what are you doing there causing commotion?
I was just grunting. That was October. Yeah, okay. It was October 13th. So I mean, I'm pretty shy with the antlers unless I'm out of state.
Yep. Makes sense.
If I'm out of state, I'm throwing Hail Marys all the time, but yeah, just grunting. I just have these series of grunts that I do that have worked a lot for me. I've killed a pretty good handful of deer with grunt tubes.
Me too.
And I've pulled them a fair amount of distance. I mean, in open country, but I'm always, I'm not going to call, say like I'm on a random tree out in the middle of nowhere. I have to have that backdrop,
right.
To make him think somebody's in there.
Yep.
So I think that's a common mistake a lot of guys make when they're calling, is they're not utilizing topography.
Yeah.
To coax those deer in, because I mean, if you're out in the CRP on a little tree row or something and you're calling, they can even see through those tree rows. They know something's up. They're not gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the odds to get them to cross that tree row to find that deer is, it's slim. I've even used blizzards to call in deer. My Minnesota buck. What was it? 3 years ago, 2023, it was just snowing super hard. Same kind of deal, set up on a scrape like that. And it was snowing so hard. I had a cattle pasture. I was sitting my feet were basically right above the barbed wire fence. And I just tickled the horns lightly. That was like in October, I think it was October 31st. No, it was the 30th. And it was snowing really hard, like super low visibility. So I rattled at that time, and he came out looking right at that scrape, and then I utilized the grunt from there. But I had a cattle pasture behind me, but it was snowing so hard, he had the courage to even jump that fence, and because he had to see who was over there. He would have never done that if it wasn't snowing.
Right.
And I was actually contemplating passing that deer, but I was like, man, since you got the courage to jump that fence,
I'll shoot him.
I got to shoot him.
I got to shoot him now.
All right, I'm only shooting him if he jumps that fence.
So, I mean, technically, you could maybe say that was a private land deer. I had permission to hunt and access through that cattle pasture.
Oh, that's the backside of private land deer.
Yeah. So he came off the public, jumped the fence onto the private, and I shot him into that cattle pasture. So I cheated a little bit, but
a little bit, yeah. HUNTR Podcast is brought to you by Deergro.
Man, hard to believe, but Deergro has been the sponsor that's been there since the beginning of the HUNTR Podcast. Back in 2021, I think that they were the only partner that we had, but it's such a cornerstone brand and set of products for our food plot strategy throughout the year.
No doubt. And it seems like we used to have an off season, but not so much anymore. It's like when the hunting season ends, it really rolls right into food plot season, habitat projects, all of the above. And the Plot Start and Plot Boost have been there since the very beginning. That's a cornerstone for all of our plots. The Plot Start goes on at the beginning, Plot Boost goes on midway through. And since they came out with all of the fertilizers, that gets mixed in with the Plot Boost application as well. And I can't believe the results that we've been getting out of that.
Yeah, it's been awesome. Like I said, it's all the work now that really produces the results in the fall. So right now, anyone listening to HUNTR Podcast can use code HUNTR, HUNTR, for 15% off any of the products at Deergro.com.
Better food plots, bigger deer.
Well, people don't use that vision enough, dude. They, you know, and I get it. Like the mindset initially is like their nose, what they're doing with their nose and stuff. But when they get into those situations, the vision reliability that they take, especially a mature buck, is just, it's so much. I mean, if they can see everything, they're not committing to anything. They're like, I can see it all. It's all right there. There's nothing there. Like, I'm not going to walk over there and check it out.
Yeah, I've even witnessed it in, like say Illinois or, the bigger timber areas. You call in and they just look at you and, it's like, oh, they know there's nothing there.
Yeah.
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 Yep. So yeah, I do that a lot.
Mo, what's you don't have to like reenact it, but what is the call sequence? You said you're just making a lot of noise like on the grunt tube. Is it just, maybe you describe it like in your mind, what's the buck that you're reenacting? What are they doing? Are they like nose and does around, or are they just kind of?
Well, I don't know, kind of like those illusion videos. I feel like I have a, ability to read their body language, and how they're reacting. But I'll start soft, and it's super circumstantial too. But I could tell this guy was getting agitated, and I'd almost do, like kind of like a tending grunt, almost like a, something along those lines. Something with some attitude, and he's, thinking, geez, maybe there is a big dog in my turf. I better go check it out,
Yeah, I like that you said that. I think that attitude matters a lot.
It does. In situations or depending on what you're trying to call in.
Yeah, well, and it's hard for, if you just hand somebody a grunt tube and, like, say, make it sound like there's attitude to it, like, unless you've done it before, you don't really know what that means. But for me, when I've seen a couple of them, like I've seen a couple 4 or 5+ year old deer come into a group of does, or maybe there's some surrounding satellite bucks or whatever, and they freaking let those guys know what's up. They're like, I'm here, I'm the big dog. They're got vocal. In the brand don't matter or whatever, but it's a Primo's buck roar. I like that one because it doesn't top out like a lot of those cheaper grunt tubes. They flatline. You get to a certain whatever you blow hard enough on it, it just flatlines and it sounds like nothing. What I like about those ones is you can rip on it and it just gets deeper and meaner the louder you go. So it's got a range on it. That's what that buck I shot in Kansas was like similar to the situation you just described, except it wasn't snowing. It was that situation, you can access through the pasture. You get to that spot where they've got to come check it out. And he was the dominant buck. And mine was blind. I couldn't read his body language or anything, but some does were blowing at me down in the pasture below. And so I just covered him up by ripping on the tube a couple of times, try to create a scene like that buck's in there harassing him or doing whatever. Not 5 minutes later, here the sucker comes down around a ridge. He's got to come see,
Yeah, can't resist.
Yeah, I think that's a great tool for sure. I have that. It's the brand Duel, Duel.
Yeah, I remember that.
I've had that call forever, and like you say, tons of range. I mean, you can stretch that tube out and almost tuck it into your armpit, and I mean, you can sound like like a Jared almost, just a real big dog.
Almost.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm a big fan of that. I mean, I think there's a wide range of communication for sure, and I think if you put some emphasis on it, you can really coax them into doing stuff.
Yeah, it's honestly.
But obviously, it's situational though, because there's plenty of deer that they don't want to come square up. I've witnessed it plenty of times. You got some big frame deer, and you think he's the man of the woods, but you throw some attitude at him, and he's like, I don't want to break any tines off here.
I don't want it.
Well, that's the risk, I think, of blind calling, because you don't know necessarily the demeanor of the deer. I mean, some guys will go so far as to say, you can know that ahead of time from prior sightings, or frankly, that's probably one decent advantage to like running video cameras. If you are running cell cameras or something, is you can see how they act around other deer and be like, oh, this dude's kind of a prick. Like, he likes coming in and pushing people around. And so you can get a little bit more aggressive maybe with your blind calling or something.
I don't blind call unless I'm out of state, Hail Mary and type stuff, but because I just don't like forcing those deer into a situation. Blind calling, a lot of times those deer come in downwind, but in my area too, I mean, it depends on where I'm at, but it can be pretty open too,
Well, see, so, I will, Moll, but it's like, it's spot dependent, like you said. So if I get into a spot that I feel like they can feel like they've got the advantage, but I've got some dead space behind me that they're just going to come look, but they won't go into it. That's where I'll blind call, because I'm like, I feel like I've got the upper hand there.
Right. What time of year would you blind call? Or is it like a more of a rut type hunt, or?
Yeah, for sure. Because I think in October, granted, and I've said this a couple on more recent conversations here, we've been just picking apart. Like, dude, I haven't killed a lot of deer in October, just for whatever reason. I've had most of my success in November, and I don't know the stats as far as like how many I've called at versus how many I haven't. But it's definitely more. It's definitely more rut, and probably like the later you go. Yeah. See, I'm timid to call, or even early November. Like, I just don't think they're dumb enough yet, is what it is. Like, I'm waiting for
or desperate enough.
I'm waiting for a frame of mind that I don't think they hit until like that second or third week in November. That the big ones are like they've been actively rutting at that point, like they're rutted up enough at that point. And they're getting a little bit more desperate, like Jeremy said, to where they're just more inclined, I think, to respond to something.
Yeah, they don't have a choice.
Yeah, I don't mess with them in October. I just think they're too smart.
Yeah, that's where I'm a terrible rut hunter, though. I don't know. But what was I gonna say? Oh, in Missouri, I think, I tried calling there and stuff, and even when I had eyes on them like that, after I missed, I had that second buck that I totally would have shot came in. And I tried, working my grunt tube magic on him. The topography, or, more or less the habitat, I didn't really allow for it, but I had nothing to lose. And he wasn't having it. And I think that's back to the situational part of calling. I would imagine everybody and their brothers probably already grunted at that deer, or he's downwinded a hunter because of some blind calling. That TSI, some of that stuff. It's a tough place to bow hunt, because I mean, you're limited to 20-yard shots.
Yeah.
So
I think that's situational. I mean, like, it's like Iowa. That deer I killed last year, I think I snort wheezed at him 6 times before he committed. Well, that ain't flying in 9 out of 10 states that I hunt.
Well, you know what? I will say, and this is not true everywhere. It's just, you mentioned those, what do they call them? Not the black rack, but the
extinguisher.
The extinguisher. That's what those called. Yeah. Who was doing those? What were those like shows called?
The Deer Society stuff.
It was the Deer Society stuff, maybe.
Yeah, they're still doing it, I think.
They're still doing it for sure. Yeah, the dew carts and
stuff.
But
But I mean, the way they lay out, talk about the mannerisms, the demeanor. I mean, I think knowing how to read those deer plays a huge role in calling.
Absolutely. There's a guy that I do want to have on eventually. Maybe you know his last name. His name's Rob, and he's done some stuff with the Deer Society. But anyways, all them guys, I was super impressed with, and I don't know how much of it is like, are they hyping it up to sell the calls? I'm sure there's some of that, but those guys would like, or they wanted to believe anyways, they're like communicating with the deer. Like and there is something to that. I mean, I think I'm not that good of a caller, but I have seen situations where it's like, if you just grunted at them, he's like, they don't, they look at you and then whatever, they just go back to their thing.
Mm-hmm.
But you can
talking to them.
You can get in their head enough to a point where they'll change their mind, and then you see them flick their tail and lick their lips, and then they're like, okay, well,
it's freaking satisfying too.
It is. You're like, holy shit!
His head, and you mess with his head to the point where he wasn't going to commit, but now he's like, fuck it.
There is something really cool about, because it's like, on one hand, you want to be undetected. You know, I want to read the situation and have him like do the thing. But there, on the other end of it, it's like I freaking commanded him to, you know, to come in and
he's in a trance.
He had to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's super rewarding. There was a time, like you said, when I was a hunter that I wanted to be completely invisible. I mean, I was drinking scent killer spray pretty much, you know?
Yeah.
That's not good for you.
Were you?
No. I don't even buy this. I don't even buy this stuff anymore. I don't even pay attention to my scent at all anymore, really. I mean,
you were that? Were you taking alfalfa pills and stuff like that?
No, I wasn't doing that. But
oh no, I know people.
No,
that do.
But
I know people that they stop eating red meat, put alcohol in their hair, eat the alfalfa pills, all of it.
Well, I can tell you right now, I eat a steak every day and probably like anywhere from 8 to 14 eggs. And
me too, buddy.
I don't think the meat matters.
No, I'm like excreting straight creatine at this point.
Oh man, I can see it. I wonder if you shouldn't size up on a shirt.
Yeah.
People say that all the time on our stuff mall, that he should stop buying kids shirts.
Unbelievable.
Large.
When you got those beautiful biceps, it's hard not to want to show them, right?
That's right. That's right. It's a genetic thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you stallion.
Yeah, I won't hit that 215 mark anytime soon, though. Although I didn't lose that much weight this rut.
You usually lose a lot. You must have been eating too much in the stand.
The all day sits equaled a lot of like midday snacking and stuff, so I maintained it pretty well. It turned into fat more than anything, but it's cool.
Yeah, I didn't get much of that. I mean, I just had that week straight of hunting in Missouri, and then outside of that, I probably only hunted a total of 2 weeks this year, it seems like.
Mm-hmm.
You know, excluding the muley and the elk hunt, but.
Yeah. Well, are you still chewing on going back to Missouri then? Those are only 2 tags you got left, right?
I mean, it's definitely on my radar. Just matter how things pan out for scheduling and stuff like that. I'd like to go for sure. I mean, it's kind of driving me crazy. I feel like I didn't really get much of a season, so.
When's their season go to?
Mid-January.
I think it's January 15th.
Yep.
Roughly.
Do you have some stuff scouted out you think might like work for later in the season?
Yes and no. I'd probably have to reassess, because I would imagine you're back to the bed to feed type thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Post-gun pressure.
Yeah. So I don't know what that looks like. I don't know. I won't know until I'm there, kind of thing, I guess. I got some ideas, but all the food that on the couple pieces of public that I was playing on, all the plots that they've had planted were turned over and everything. So it makes you wonder what that looks like. But
well, so what are you toying with? Are you just home working for now, or like what's going to tip you off to go?
Well, as you know, I'm pretty random. So, I mean, you could talk to me on Monday, and next thing you know, Tuesday, I'm out of here.
Be rolling.
Yeah, just like North Dakota. I mean, I didn't make it. I sure thought I was, but.
Where were you that week?
Well, my elk hunt rolled in right after that. So I would have had to basically come to North Dakota and then go straight to Colorado.
Okay. Gotcha.
But
we had a good year out there. It was like it was cold in the front and cold in the back. Like we had some decent, fronts there, but in the middle, it was hot. There was one day we took off and just hit the river and, did some partying out there, Yeah.
Some morale boost.
Oh, dude, it was a morale boost for sure. It was fun. We had old Foxy. I brought a bottle of Angel's Envy, and he had some fun with that.
Foxy Brown, huh?
Foxy Brown. Old MILF, it ain't easy,
Yeah, I felt like I missed out big time. I always like doing that trip, but I'm not a big early season guy. October's my jam. I love October. So I'm glad it worked out though, because that North Dakota hunt was freaking fun.
Yeah. Well, it's
just the way.
Yeah, I mean, I want to do it as often as we can. It'll be weird almost when we draw North Dakota muleys. It'll be like, all right, well, I guess because it's the either deer tag, so inevitably we'll probably be doing that.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have, I mean, Jeremy and I have been talking, we don't have Kansas or Illinois tags in this coming year. So
we have Illinois.
We have Illinois.
Yeah. We don't have Kansas tags.
Oh, yeah, forgive me. We don't have Kansas and Iowa. My bad. That's what I meant. So I almost was like texting Lucas. I was like, maybe I'll go shack up with old Psycho there for a week during the rut or something. I don't know.
That could be a fun hunt too.
Be snowing.
I think there. I have to have the legend rattle me in one.
Yeah, God, that's a hammer that he shot too.
Yeah, it is. I don't know if you heard the story, but so the night before Lucas shot his dad texted us and was like, "Oh, I just see." Actually, he texted us a picture. We had trail camp. He's like, "I just seen this one. It's too far or whatever." And we're like, "Oh," he's like, he ran right in on me. It was like super early in the afternoon, like kind of a weird encounter. We're like, "Oh, that's crazy," And then the next morning, Lucas shot that one, and when we recover it, we're standing, it's me, Lucas, and the legend, and he goes, I have a confession to make, and he goes, so that bucker last night, he's like, actually, I did fling an arrow at that deer, and I think he gained some confidence because the new dog had followed that blood trail right to Lucas's, even though we didn't need it. That was the first time with the puppy there, and so I think then he's like, well, maybe if I did hit that thing, maybe the dog would be able to find it. So they ended up going back and looking, and he found the arrow, no blood, it didn't turn anything up. So it was a clean miss like he thought. But it was just funny that he
held that one back.
He didn't want to tell us, and he's like, I've got a confession to make.
Yeah, maybe we should go look at that arrow after all.
That's right.
Oh, God. I don't know.
Cool.
What would a rut hunt be like up there? I mean, it seems like they kill a lot of their deer early in the season.
Lucas has killed, all through the season.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think October is pretty sweet. Like,
I wonder. I mean, I can't be quoted here, but I feel like maybe that second, third week has treated them the best.
About October?
November.
Of November.
Maybe not overall, but if there was a rut hunt at play, I think kind of that was that. It's the best time to find those big dogs anyway that he's after,
Yeah, and probably weather dependent like anywhere.
When's their gun season?
I don't know.
It's usually that first week of November.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's early.
Yeah.
I think this year, though, it might have been the second week. I think it just kind of depends on how the weekends fall,
Yep.
Yeah, dude, they've been after him. I mean, consistently, like I don't know what they ended up with there, but Lucas killed, his dad killed. I think Foxy shot one, and I think Colin Berry shot one too.
Yeah, and they're all nice deer.
They're all good deer.
My buddy Cody, I can't remember if you met him or not. I think you did. He was there that year I killed that velvet.
Mm-hmm.
He spent a week out there during the rut, and he said it was kind of ghost townish, Yeah, but how do you define rut? Everybody's definition of rut's a little bit different, it seems.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and just anywhere. I talk to guys that hunt, Iowa and Kansas, like known big buck states, and say the same thing. They're like, it's ghost town.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just weird. Some years it feels like that rut's freaking wide open and you can't get away from deer, and then some years it's like they freaking left the planet,
Yeah, can't find them.
Yeah. This year
it's weird how that.
I think for the most part, it was a tough rut for a lot of guys this past year.
That's my opinion too. It was kind of that ghost town rut year.
Yeah, which was weird because from a weather standpoint, we caught several fronts during the rut.
Yeah, we did.
It just, I don't know. Yeah, it was
why October, man. October vacation where it's at.
No, I don't think so. Not for me, anyways. I remember this October specifically, probably just because it's the most recent, but and maybe Brackett got in my head too, because he's talking about this dark side, backside of the moon thing. It's like after that full moon, he's like, you watch, you're going to shut right off. And sure enough, I don't know if I was biased at that point or wait. But it really did. I was like, whoa, where'd everybody go? And it.
I was going to say, you didn't really, Ohio would have been the only place you hunted, right?
Mainly Ohio.
Because we got to Illinois at the end of October, but.
Yep, it was Ohio. That's where I was watching.
Yeah. But you didn't hunt much, did you?
No, because I wasn't getting much to go on.
Mm-hmm. On camera.
Are you a little bit invested in the moon then, or what?
not enough that I like know what I'm looking for. It just was interesting that in that specific situation, it was brought up, and then I was like, yeah, they really did shut down as far as the cameras, were showing anyways. But no, I don't plan any trips or anything like that around it.
Yeah, I've never been much of a moon guy. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I've never really invested in it, but it'd be interesting to know why we've have those weird rut years. It seems like every year or every other year, every couple of years, you just get that weird rut year where it's just real quiet.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't see it. The only chase I saw was that 1-year-old on a doe in Kansas. Like, I didn't see a chase this year.
Yeah, that's weird.
Nowhere.
Wow. I saw
Phenomenon.
Some smaller deer. Yeah.
Like, no big deer pushing. Yeah.
I didn't see any big deer at rutting. Personally. I mean, in the sense that, like the dream, like the last one I can honestly remember was November 9th, 2 years ago
in Illinois,
when I killed that mid-30s 5-year-old. It was like a buck brawl. I mean, that's like when I think of rutting,
yeah, there were like 3 5.5-year-old bucks chasing a doe,
just falling all over themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you live for.
That's got to be more of a timing thing too, man. You just probably got to be right place, right time to witness that behavior.
That's exactly what it is.
100%. Because think about everywhere else on the property. Those 3 bucks weren't there. They were just in the one spot on the one doe. So it's right. Yeah, it's
feast or
so
famine.
My theory is, that first couple of does that go into season, that's when you see that behavior, and then when everybody's ready, it's all bets are off. You might not see anything.
Yeah. Well, and see, we had kind of a fun jockeying with that too. The pre-rut, a lot of guys say that they really like that, like for that reason. They're like, they're looking for the first couple ones, and I would say I struggle with that part of the year because it just seems like the mature ones are like immediately locked down. Like they find them like the 25th through the 28th.
I think that's why there's that small window, depending on where you're at, from like 19th, 20th to 25th, 26th, that it's like they're doing the thing, but they haven't found the doe yet. And a lot of times that's a scrape-oriented hunt, right? Like they're just, their rain front comes through, they got to crush a scrape. They have to crush a scrape. They can't resist it.
To me, it's earlier. I think that's the scrape hunting is best. I mean, it has to rain, just no matter what. When it rains, just like you're saying with the dew point, that moisture is what brings them out to those. It's on their mind. They got to come check it. I would pick like the 10th through the 15th. Maybe as late as the 20th, like 10th through the 20th as like the best days I would pick to hunt scrapes. But truthfully, it's anytime, all the way through.
Yeah.
All the way through.
They sealed up fast this year.
Yeah, but dude, when it rains, they freaking come out. I saw GR8 the other day.
Yeah, crushing a scrape
after a heavy rain at like the 3rd week of November. So those rains they'll tell you where to go.
Yeah, I'll bet. I'm not a big sign hunter, as bizarre as it may seem, but like you're saying, I think my window for scrapes are pre-October 20th. I mean, maybe the 25th. I don't even pay attention to them anymore.
Yeah, start sealing up fast.
Well, I just need to kill one in October. Maybe I can have an opinion. Maybe I could chime in with you guys here. I can have an opinion.
I was trying to think.
Yeah, I think those first 2-3 weeks, it's a great time to find. That's another thing I didn't really touch on is I'm looking for isolated bucks. They're off by themselves, and I kind of use that on that North Dakota story. I think he was the only freaking deer on the property. So I mean, it piqued his interest that somebody's making a scrape on his turf. And it's just kind of something I key in on those. First few weeks October, I just look for those isolated bucks. I don't hunt does. I seldom see does when I'm hunting. I don't even care about them.
Are you in lower deer density areas hunting mostly, Moll?
Well, no, I mean, Minnesota, the area I hunt in Minnesota, there's tons of does. If you're sitting in the right spot, you could see 30, 40 does a night,
You're just not hunting those areas.
Yeah, because I don't think they care about them at all, You're kind of like, I don't know what it is, man. They're off, off getting their pump on, they're getting bulked up, getting ready, they got a bunch of attitude, I don't know. It's for whatever reason though, those are the kind of the deer that I like to hunt,
Yep.
I don't like having 20 does come by me and then shooting that buck, but I don't know. I guess it's been a long time since I've experienced that. I don't hunt does at all. It's been a while.
Yeah. Well, I think your style favors that, right? Because you
Yeah.
got 20 does coming by you. One of them, if you're flirting
Yeah,
with the
you're gonna get
line on your
busted.
wind, you're gonna get busted. Yeah, it's gonna end before it even started on the buck.
Yeah, so I'm not saying those areas are no good, but I like finding those isolated bucks. I mean, that's kind of what I'm keying in on.
Which I think favors October for sure.
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah, or I guess late season too. I mean, you start to see them. They may end up in the same spot, but they can still isolate themselves on the way there.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, especially in North Dakota. They yard up so bad. You'll find,
Yep.
they like to go to cattle farms, whatever it may be, but they yard up really bad. And at least in my part of the state, a lot of times you don't see those big deer in those yarded up groups. You'll see good ones,
Mm-hmm.
but you're not seeing the big ones. And a lot of times, it's been a long time since I've hunted late season. I used to love it. I used to be obsessed with it. I just can't do it anymore either. It gets so cold, running and gunning in the cold.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's why I started getting a little bit different style for October. Because I used to leave North Dakota tag on the back burner because I knew I could find them late season yarded up, But I don't know. A lot of times I notice if you want to shoot a really good one late season, you got to put your time in and find him, off on his own. He's somewhere, by himself. So I don't know if it's that social pressure. He's just had enough of the season, the rut and whatever else. He just wants to go and, be on his own or what it is. But
HUNTR Podcast is brought to you by Lone Wolf Custom Gear.
Man, those Lone Wolf stands have become such a cornerstone of our equipment over, recently, but I mean, also we've been using these stands for a long time, even the original Lone Wolves. They're all built right here in the United States. The lines just keep getting better and better. Cody and Andre and the whole team just keep innovating and introducing new stuff into the line this year. And they've got some new things coming this year.
Yeah, so this year we've got the Patriot Series, which, a lot of people are talking about this as being the cheaper, just fixed position side of things. But let's be honest, they can be mobile too, right? They weigh 12 pounds, but they're built from a value standpoint. So for guys like us who want to have 3, 4, 5 preset stands out there for certain wins, we can put this Patriot Series out there, have them ready. Nothing better than slipping up into one of these fixed position stands that's already set on the right wind.
No doubt. And so this year, as of right now, you can use code HUNTR, HUNTR. It's a one-time use promo code. Gets you 10% off anything on the Lone Wolf Custom Gear website. That's any of the custom gear stuff, any of the Patriot Series. So whether you're planning on getting into one for the first time or you want to stack a big order here before the season, code HUNTR will get you 10% off.
Hunt like a wolf.
How are you doing that, Moll? How are you, what's telling you where an isolated buck is going to be? Are you just looking for really good security cover?
yeah, good thermal cover and maybe an unturned field or something.
In the late season, you're saying?
Yeah, in the late season. Are you saying October?
Yeah, just anytime, yeah.
Yeah, late season it would look like that. October, like I was saying, I'm more looking towards those areas that are getting overlooked. That have that cover that's it's going to give them what they need, but it's also tough to hunt. There might not be a lot of trees that you can hang in or whatever it may be. That especially that when I talk about stuff, I kind of always reflect on Minnesota. It's my home state, and it's my favorite place to hunt. There's a lot of dogwood and willows, a lot of stuff like that. And there's a lot of areas that don't offer a lot of tree stand hunting, so there's a lot of little pockets that get overlooked. They might be next to the parking area. I mean, I got a few of those bucks under my belt too, So
yeah, you do.
I don't know. I think you just got to be willing to adapt and adjust and acknowledge why you're failing, I guess, or why it's not working out. Access is huge.
Yeah, I think it's the moment that people can realize that if you're looking at a spot and you think it's good, that so are 100 or 200 or 1,000 other people, that's your first step in the right direction.
And even when you try and bang it into people's heads that other guys are doing the same thing, it's just hard for them to get away from those spots. It's so appealing, that the eye candy's there. It's like I can't turn my back on it, because they're not willing to fail somewhere else or whatever it may be. I have no idea, but
yeah. We're all guilty of it. I mean, it's
100%.
You look at enough places that like your eyes, if you know what you're looking for, your eyes go to the obvious place because you're like, that's a good one, and it's hard to maybe in a bit of a denial is like you don't want to believe that there are 1,000 other people doing the same thing. But we are. The three of us probably would. If you put the same piece of public down, the three of us would probably drop a pin on the same 3 spots. Like that's just how it is.
We see that big on those tethered trips. Everybody's dropping pins on the same spot, and I always just kind of sit back and smile because, I mean, that's how I operate.
Yep.
It's like it's there. It's in black and white. Everybody kind of does the same thing, and I don't
know. I wonder. Yeah, I guess we've all kind of spread out, like in a camp thing. There's never been a situation where we're all like hunting the same stuff. And if there are, it's like they're all reliant. Not you, but like they're.
Well, there's an unspoken agreement. It's like I know you're going here, or I'm going here, or whatever it might be. Like, yeah.
It's tough. Well, for me, it's like at home in Ohio because it's like I'm the only one that hangs tree stands for the most part, and so there's just like a balancing act of like, okay, who can hunt where? It's dads and uncles and stuff, and so it's like sometimes I don't hang stands in certain spots because I don't want them hunted, and I'm like I'll just go hang and bang on it.
I think the only spot we would have had that was when we were in Shawnee that period, and frankly, it was just. Well, we had Corey was with us, but it was also like there was just so many guys at every parking area. It was like we didn't even get a chance to find the voids. Like we just couldn't even get in to be like, oh, this spot's overlooked. There was just I couldn't even find a parking spot.
It was just tough for us to embrace. I mean, it's like you have to have like the mentality shift of like, okay, I'm going to hunt the pressure. I'm going to hunt around the pressure, and like that's. For me, it's like the whole point is like I want to hunt unpressured deer if I can. And those areas are hard to find.
Yeah, and I mean it depends on the dynamic of the trip, but if you're handcuffed by the trip, you got to do what you got to do, and I mean you got to get in them. There's always a place to kill though. I mean, there's always a spot. You just got to find it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a ton of pressure down in Shawnee when we were down there too.
Oh yeah, them boys hunt down there. A lot of Southerners coming up to that stuff.
A lot of Southerners even in Missouri when we were there.
You Minnesota boys travel though. That was what kicked us out of Southeast Kansas.
I think Minnesota's the most popular license plate just across everywhere we've been.
Or Wisconsin. I used to see a lot of Wisconsin Minnesota. Guys out and about.
Don't try to deflect. We know where it's coming from.
You're trying to
But yeah, as you go, if you're in Southern Illinois, if you're in Missouri, even in Southeast Kansas, there's a lot of Southerners, and it's because like we didn't realize it. Like we were in Southern Illinois and we run into all these Louisiana guys, and they're like, "Yeah, it's only 7 hours from us." I'm like, "Shit, that's farther for me."
Yeah. Well, and they're chasing the big bucks just like the rest of us.
That's right. That's right. Well, that's the thought process too. I mean, so if there is a pressure gauging too, I mean, that's like southeastern Kansas. I mean, I think one of the reasons that there's so much pressure there is it's close to the southern states. It's accessible from Louisiana, Alabama.
Friggin' Arkansas boys are there in 3 hours.
Yep. So you got to go to a part of the state where they're not, or where it's, a lot of people think if they just get into the state, they're like, okay, we made it to Kansas. So they just park up right there. See, and that's probably any state. You got to go.
Well, you think about like that northern part of Missouri. Most people are just like, well, I'm only a few miles from the Iowa border. I'm basically hunting Iowa, and it's like not with that pressure. You're not.
No, you're not.
Yeah, the even just the leases in that area of this.
Oh yeah,
they're insane, and I mean, there's landowners that don't even hunt their own ground anymore because they're foolish if they turn down those numbers,
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just wild.
Yeah.
I was looking at even in leases in Illinois. I mean, I'd like to get a lease one day or something, maybe in one of them big states. And I was just kind of peeking, and I found a 600-acre piece. They were asking 60 grand for it.
Whoa.
That's
60
that's
grand
insane.
for 600 acres?
Yeah, $100
Yeah, it was
an
like
acre.
650. It was
Oh,
on
my word.
that HLRBO or whatever
Yep.
it is.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah,
lot
I
of
was
them.
like,
Dude, $100 an acre in some of those big buck states is not out of the question. Ohio's $100 an acre in most places now.
that's
crazy.
insane.
It's nuts.
Stupid.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's squeezing a lot of people out of the game, no doubt.
Yep. Yeah, it is, and it's just like I don't see how it can sustain that. The expectations. I mean, you're not killing the deer that you think you're going to kill anymore with the pressure and the.
Well, it's not. In the end, I think we won't be able to. Well, see, and I don't know. On one hand, I would say I don't think we'll be able to control deer numbers, but like I don't know, natural causes seem to be doing just fine with
something.
that.
They're doing something.
I think at the end they'll turn and put it on hunters and say we're not doing good enough. But
yeah, well, because none of us non-residents are traveling to kill a doe.
Well, and it's also the state agencies that are causing like that. The hunting is a rich man's sport mentality. It's the lack of management of technology and the ability for us to control space.
So we insulate ourselves.
Yeah, so that comes from cell cameras, crossbows,
drones.
All of that stuff allows us to occupy more space, hunt more states, kill more bigger deer. But the guys with money are the ones who are doing it. I would love to see if they could do a correlation stat to see like over the past 5 or 10 years. It would probably be, I don't know, the size, or if you could correlate like age class of bucks killed or something like that with net income, like in some way. I guarantee there's a correlation. Guarantee.
Wow, dude. I mean, I don't follow it overly hard, but I mean, I follow that bow hunting league enough where there's plenty of guys killing 180 plusers every year.
Yep.
And I mean, even 200s, you're not even a big deal if you shoot a 200 anymore.
Sure.
That's what it seems like,
Nobody cares. Nobody cares that you kill big deer anymore.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's hard to believe, though, that those guys that are consistently killing those absolute magnums every year or multiple magnums, there's no way there's a financial barrier there.
No, there's not. I mean, there are definitely people that, they're just, I won't say they're lucky. They have a property that for whatever reason hasn't been affected by natural issues that it will produce a magnum every year. And it's just, there just are very few of them anymore. And if I had one, I would never sell it. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of outfitters, I don't want to bash on them or anything, and I don't know the for sure's, but I would imagine there's plenty of outfitters that are selling certain deer or the hunt of a certain deer to the highest bidder,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of guys that are obsessed with big deer that are calling around all these different outfitters to find the biggest deer they can.
100%.
It's hard to find a big deer anymore, man. And I mean, like a true big deer, not like a 160, but like finding a 180 to 200 plus inch deer. Like
it's honestly kind of like, I don't know if scary is the word, but like baffling how like we know a lot of guys, that are, running cameras on thousands, if not tens of thousands of acres that will be like, yeah, I don't have anything I'm interested in. Like, you know what I mean? Don't have a deer ever, or they have 180 inch deer. It's like, and everything else is 160 sub. It's like, oh, man, on that much acreage, like that's
scary.
Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes you wonder, with the rat craze and like you're saying, technology, it's hard to believe people aren't sniping deer with thermals or whatever. I would imagine poaching plays a big role.
Yeah, I mean, that happens for sure.
A really big
like
role.
If you're running cameras though, it gives intel that those deer are there, and
there's no mystery when these deer disappear and you don't hear about them. Like they're not laying in a ditch. Somebody finds them if they're laying in a ditch. They're gone.
Yeah.
They're in a basement or in a freezer or in a shed or whatever. Like they're with somebody.
Yeah, nobody ever finds the sheds or nothing. I screwed up on a mega giant. Same year I killed that one, actually. It was another dumb old man beam buck, and that was back when I ran cameras. I think I had like 60 cameras. I had an encounter with this deer, and it was perfect. I should have killed him. He gave me a neck shot, but I didn't take it. And he was just coming out of velvet, so he had tons of attitude. And this little buck, he was chasing this little buck around, trying to kick his ass. And well, this little buck ran downwind of me, and eventually the big guy got my wind. And I peppered that area with cameras. I must have had a 5-mile bubble. Never once got another picture of them, never heard about them. A deer of that caliber, you'd think, and it's pretty sparse country, somebody would have found the sheds or, something. You would have heard about it. There's no way. I mean, if somebody found that deer dead, there's no way they wouldn't have been talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he was just that impressive.
Yeah. He's probably poached. There's no doubt. I mean, that 200 I hunted in Columbus, like, we had a kid from the podcast who said he found the shed of that deer the year before I was hunting him. And then I was like, well, what happened to him? Because like I had that deer on camera 2 years in a row, never saw him, never found him, never nothing. And it's like, yeah, I'm sure he got poached. He's in somebody's basement right now. 210-inch typical. Yeah,
as sad as it is, I feel like it's probably more of a thing than we want to admit.
With thermals and the 100-yard crossbows and thermal drones.
I talked to some Mordens, and they say, like, at least in Ohio, like where I'm at, they're like the most likely culprit is they have like it's a thermal scope with a crossbow.
Yeah,
because you can pull up and it's dead silent. It doesn't make like a
That's an 80 to 100-yard weapon.
Yeah, easy. You just pull up and you don't even have to shine a spotlight anymore. That's when they used to get calls. They'd be like, somebody's out here shining. But now all they have to do is throw the thermal up and.
Deer aren't really scared of anything in the dark. I'm sure we've all witnessed it, walked up on them in the dark and stuff. And
guards down.
And in places like where I'm at too, especially, I mean, even if they're using a gun, one gunshot, who's going to know where the heck that came from,
Right.
Nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, it really bums me out to think about it and stuff, but it's hard to believe it's not a factor.
Yeah.
I think it's a big one, especially for these top tier deer. Like, maybe not the 130s, the 150s in a lot of cases, but top tier deer, they're getting.
Yeah.
And I mean, the
wardens, risk and reward.
That's it, man. And the wardens that I talk to that know where poaching's happening, they're like, dude, we know who's doing it. It's an addiction. Like these guys are literally, they go out and they poach a big buck and they get away with it and they got to do it again. And it's a drug. Yeah. Like they're just, they can't resist not doing it. And the more they get away with it, the more they want to do it. And that's just how it is.
I would imagine, just like shoplifting or anything else.
That's it, man.
What do you think the punishment should be for a poacher?
Public hanging.
Hanging? Death?
I don't know. I love deer, man. I love them a lot, So
it's an interesting. It's a big discussion because like right now it's monetary fine and loss of license. Well, license doesn't mean shit. That's poaching.
Irrelevant. Yeah,
that's irrelevant.
That should just be a given. Like
back to the deer numbers too. I feel like maybe the government don't really give a shit about our deer.
No, they want them dead.
They want them dead.
Yeah. So I mean, there's plenty of theories and conspiracies on why the numbers might be the way they are. And
Big Ag wants them dead. That's for sure.
Right. So, I mean, that's probably why the fines are what they are. And who knows how many guys, just get a don't do it again talk or,
Right.
I mean, I've called in baiting in Minnesota. It's illegal. I've called baiting in anytime I find it, especially if I find it on public ground. So if you're listening, if I smash your camera and you find it on the bait, it was probably me.
Yep.
I do it every time.
I know at least 5 other guys that do the same thing. Yep.
Yeah, and I'll pull the chip and I'll bring it home and I upload their videos and those dumb fucks will stand in front of the camera dumping their bait. It's like, well, I got you, dude.
Yeah. Yeah,
and
that's forgiving for you to do that, frankly. Just like to smash the camera and put it on the ground.
Well, sometimes I'll message them on Facebook or something, and or whatever it might be. But I've called in plenty of baiting incidents and I've told them who the person was and everything.
Yeah.
And it just seems like nothing ever comes of it.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's the same. Same across everywhere I've heard.
Yeah, so it's like, well, if they're not doing nothing about it, it tells me they don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
nobody's going to learn from it. They're going to just keep doing it.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure that every state people are baiting deer when it's illegal. I'm sure. Yep. I mean, these guys are doing it on public ground even.
Oh yeah, man. No,
you can't even run cameras on public ground in Minnesota. I think if you put one up, you have to have it down in 24 hours or whatever.
Yeah, and Yeah, well, and I mean, for some of these guys, they're dumb, but you can't blame them. Like every rural king or farm king or whatever is selling deer corn in every state that it's illegal. Like, it's the craziest thing ever, dude.
I've always wondered that. Well, that's the weird thing about Minnesota. It's okay to feed deer. You know, I don't know. There's some loopholes. I've never looked into it. I don't know the ins and outs because it doesn't pertain to me. But it's okay to like feed them and have trail cameras on them, but you got to hunt X amount of feet away or whatever it might be. Or
that's such a bad. Like, dude, if you can feed them, that's basically baiting. Like, where's the fine line difference there?
And I think that because like in North Dakota, you can bait in some of the state, but there's plenty of units where it's illegal. And I'm pretty sure they have something similar in place where you can feed the deer, but you can't hunt over bait. And they're banning the bait because of the CWD. So it's like, well, you know, they're still you're still exposing them if that's what's going on, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just weird.
It is
frustrating.
Well, and it, you know, like you said, it's gonna continue to get tougher to find just good quality deer and you know, in huntable areas especially. That's
right.
Just where we're going.
That's why I set the bar low, you know. If I can shoot 140s the rest of my life, I think I'd be a happy camper.
I think most people would.
Yeah.
Probably true.
Yeah, I mean, there's a big difference between a 140 and a 130 even, you know.
Mm-hmm. Are you thinking about age at all in any of these deer, Moll, or just score?
I'm not a score guy at all. I'm just throwing that 140 out there as like a universal gauge.
Yeah, you see a deer and you're like, that's big enough.
Yeah, he's got that basketball cage or whatever it might be. You know, you can just tell even just by seeing the beams, you know, whether it's a go or not.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
I love
but yeah, I mean, I don't think I have the right. I mean, obviously, I don't want to be shooting young deer. I've passed deer. I actually have a North Dakota buck. He's got split 2s and a split 3. I actually passed him the year before, and he probably only put on maybe 10 inches, but I passed him. I was at full draw and everything. And I was like, God, that's a young deer, you know? And I did pass that one. So, I mean, if he looks like a teeny bopper, I'm not going to shoot him, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that comes too probably with not running, you know, many cameras or, you know,
yeah,
you're in an area for the first time.
It's a game time decision. Yeah. I was going to say, you see them.
It looks good, you shoot them.
There it is.
Yeah, it's a go, baby. And I mean, there's probably been deer that I've passed and shot a lesser deer that year just because the vibe wasn't right, you know? I like killing them close. If I shoot, you know, if they come to 5 yards, you know, my standards drop significantly, I think.
By the yard, huh?
Yeah. Well, that South Dakota whitetail I shot this year, I shot him off the ground. And I had the ability to size him up. You know, I was binoing him and stuff, and he was kind of bumping does around. And him and actually a bigger buck were dinking around with each other, you know, sparring and chasing and stuff like that. And I set up on this rock outcrop, some hill country there, oaks and stuff. And I just knew if I rattled, I'd get one of those dudes to come have a look. And he was coming, he dropped down the drainage and he was coming on a string. I thought he was going to walk right over me, but I didn't know that outcrop was going to force him to my downwind side. I mean, he was trying to grab my thermals as he came in, but as he was coming, I was hemming and hawing, you know, like, I don't know, you know, I don't know. Well, next thing you know, he's 4 yards and I'm on the ground. It's like, how do I deny that, you know? And I'm not like Bomar. I can't kill coyotes at 300 yards. So, you know, if they're close, you know, it's hard to, you know, pass that up. And it's just, I don't know, it's just something about getting close. I just love it.
That's the whole point of bow hunting, dude.
Yeah. So that, I mean, long story short, that South Dakota buck probably would have got a pass. You know, especially considering I was already tagged out in 2 states and there's big deer in that area. He probably would have got a pass, but the way it played out, it's like, I got to kill this thing.
Yeah.
And I had a blast with it, you know. It was probably one of my funner hunts this year.
Heck yeah, man.
So it's all about.
Well, that's all you can ask for, dude. I hope you we got time here. Maybe rally for some one last tag to get filled down there. So they put you on the tethered wall of fame there. You know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, Missouri has 2 buck tags, so if I shoot one, I ain't going home. I'll probably keep playing a little
That's right.
bit.
Where there's one.
Where there's one, there's two.
There's two
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be fun. We'll see if I make time or not.
The HUNTR Podcast is brought to you by Beast Broadhead.
Dude, Beast Broadheads. Man, we've been advocating for and shooting expandable, especially big expandable broadheads for years and years now. And it just seems like they just keep making them better and better. And ultimately, with the relationship we forged with the Bowmars this past year, we're just super excited to be shooting the Beast Broadheads this year.
I mean, this broadhead it's the world's sharpest expandable broadhead out there. It has best penetration, and it's got bone avoiding technology. Ultimately, we want to create the most trauma possible on a deer when we release an arrow. The Beast Broadhead does that for us every time.
So right now you can use code HUNTR, HUNTR, for a discount on anything on the Beast website. So definitely go check out beastbroadheads.com. Mall rat, everybody.
Let's go. He's deadly, dude.
I know it. It's funny. It's hard to pull it out of him sometimes because he's public. He's got to keep things low key.
Well, yeah, because of the public.
It's just in his nature,
He's confident.
Yeah.
You and him are very similar in your confidence of it's borderline ego because people take it the other way. Like I'm used to you, so therefore I'm get Maul.
Yeah.
But there's other people that are like, Jared's just arrogant as hell.
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, no, he's just very confident. And I get it. I know where the line is, and I get your line, as most people that know you do. But anybody who doesn't know you, or probably a Maul, would be like, that guy's arrogant as hell.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, no, he's just very confident in what he does.
Yeah, and it's fun because it's like it makes me check my own ego because it's like you got 2 bulls,
two alphas in a room,
as he likes to say. So it's fun but then it's fun because we like to just tussle with it. We're like,
yeah. Just flexing back and forth.
Yeah.
It's funny, but yeah, I mean, but still, I did, what he did in Minnesota and the Dakotas, and obviously he was on them in Missouri. Like, the dude knows how to kill deer.
He's a killer.
Which is cool because he does, and it's hard to pull it out of him, but I don't blame him. Like, I'm not going to give away all my secrets, right?
Mm-hmm.
To like how
he's not doing it intentionally either. It's just it's in his nature to like he's a sly dog, you know what I mean? And he's
right.
in a good way, paired with that confidence we're talking about. He'll smile and nod while everybody's dropping pins, then he'll slip in and freaking kill a giant.
Well, because I mean, he did say it there. He's like, and I think that was a good conversation. If anybody takes something from this, is the fact that like, if we're all looking at a piece of public, there are obvious spots that jump out that we would all be like, well, yeah, that's a saddle, or this is a pinch, or whatever. This is a funnel here. But so is 100 or 1,000 other people.
Yeah.
Right? On a piece of private, great. Like, that is the spot, and that's where you'll kill them.
Yep.
But on a piece of public, it's like, yeah, everybody and their brother's also thinking that.
Mm-hmm.
So look at this right here. Doesn't jump out, but it doesn't jump out to anybody. That's why it's a good spot.
Here, I'll just throw a number out here. I just Googled it. So this is your AI overview response. Onyx has over 3 million subscribers across its outdoor apps, hunt, off-road, and backcountry. Blah, 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 with more than 4 million total app users overall. Throw in some others like Hunt Stand, Spartan Forge, and, all in, you're probably at you got 5 million people.
Yep, and then think of a high-pressure state like Missouri or Illinois or Ohio from a public land standpoint, and there's several 100,000 people looking at public land spots, would be my guess.
Easily over 100,000 people have looked at this exact same piece of public that you have at the exact same spot, probably has pins within 100 yards of your spots.
I mean, that would be what is funny, is like if you overlay, like, dude, I know what it is on mine. When I bring up my Onyx to someone, and I'm just going through, they're like, damn, look at all the pins you have. Okay. And I'm like, yeah, so do 10,000 other people.
Yeah, let's say there's, even conservatively, like 3.5 million users on all of the hunting. Every one has, let's say,
100
at
plus
least
pins.
100 pins.
100
so
plus
does that mean you have like 3.5 million pins?
That'd be 350 million pins.
350, thank you, million pins?
Mm-hmm. Or more. Yeah.
Because some of us easily have.
1,000.
There's 1,000 pins.
Yeah. You probably have somewhere in the neighborhood of a 500 million pins.
I'd love to know, just for fun, like purely for research, science, for science.
Just for science.
I'd love to dissect
research and development.
and just see how many pins actually exist and like how they're spread across the entire country.
It's a 500 million to 1 billion pins would be my guess.
1 billion, yeah, 500 million pins.
But think about like if I pull up a 40-acre area on public, how many pins are in that 40 acres? It's a lot.
I'd love to know, like, and this would be fun questions just for those guys. You know, it's like on a given on the average, so average out across all of your top 10 states, how many pins are on each 40 piece of 40-acre piece of public?
A lot.
Thousands. I guarantee
a lot.
Thousands on every 40.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so that's
it's not that they're going to it all the time.
They just are acknowledging it as I should look at that. Yeah. I've been there. I've hunted it. Whatever. There's a plethora of things there.
Yeah, wild.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. And in there lies the issue of like trying to be successful in some of these places, and the reason that some people go into public and it's a barren wasteland because it's like, yeah, dude, 1,000 other people have stepped foot in this same area throughout the course of the last 4 weeks.
Yeah, well, you can get ahead of it. I mean, guys that are paying attention to there's different things. You know what I mean? Like for instance, they got rid of cameras on, Kansas public there for a while.
And he said Minnesota too, you can't use it.
I think they're getting ready to bring them back here potentially, but
in Kansas,
things like that in any given state, you're like, oh, interesting. Here's a change. Here's something that might allow these deer to like get another year on them, kind of a thing. Like
that's so big. I mean, dude, the first thing I look at is I'm like, where are people not hunting? is like just from an age structure standpoint. That's the first thing I'm trying to think of. Or like when I lived in Missouri, I looked at there were a lot of places that were archery and muzzleloader only. Yep. So immediately I'm like, they're harder to kill, probably have a higher age class. And I did. I would find older bucks in a lot of those spots. I had one spot that was awesome, and I don't know what happened to it. It went down to shitter. But for a year or two, it was like I was on 5- and 6-year-old bucks that were 150-inch plus every year. Yeah. And it was because it was an archery and muzzleloader only. And I think there was a non-hunting like state park or state something there that allowed them to get older too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's it. But also, how many other people, because I was near Columbia, Missouri, like it was University of Missouri, how many thousands of other people looked at that same area and were like, yeah, that's a good place.
I thought the exact same thing. Yeah.
A lot.
So it's fluid. I think you got to be ever evolving, like looking for, different things here. And you got to get lucky and you got to put your time in.
But you can do it. I mean, Moll's found a little bit of a recipe there of where he's like, okay, everybody thinks this way. I'll think this way for a spot. And then I still have to apply all of the things like, he's giving them the win, and he knows there's a chance they're going to bust them. And if they do, great, he'll go find another spot. Mm-hmm. Most people don't think that way. They're like, oh, I can't mess it up. Like if I mess it up, it's over. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. You got to go find another one. Mm-hmm. So it's just you got to really take yourself out of some of the common things that we go by as deer hunters to be successful in those different situations.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Anyways, we appreciate everyone listening to episode 294 with Dustin Moll, and we will catch you on the next one.
Later.
Take me